Welcome to the first ever Metal Lounge Core Awards. We're going to be breaking down our favourite albums, singles, newcomers, and even biggest letdowns of 2025. Let's dive in. Alan, lovely to have you back on the lounge, especially good for this special occasion of the Metal Lounge Awards. How you doing?
Doing very well. It's good to come back here after a full year of Metal Lounge.
Yeah, it's quite nice to look back. Like, we're always looking at what's hot and what's just released and stuff, but it's nice to kind of take a deep breath and review.
A little trip through all the releases that we've had. There's been ups, there's been downs.
Apologies in advance if I've missed any of your favourite bands, because it's impossible to listen to everything, isn't it?
Yeah, same. So I've had to pick the ones that have stuck out the most to me, have had an effect.
Done the time. Well, without further ado then, we're not going to mess about with any, top best boy, boom operator, top screenwriter of the year. We're skipping the vegetables and we're going straight for the meat. So, Alan, what is your top 5 albums of the year?
All right, so in at number 5, we've got Deftones' Private Music. This came out of nowhere. They haven't released an album in, what is it, 5 years?
Half a decade.
They came out with two singles this year, in the same year that they're releasing an album, months before it came out. And
I saw them live and I was like, are they dropping a new record label, like Private Music? It's a bit of a shit name, isn't it?
You're not a fan of that name?
No.
Oh yeah, because I saw it and I was like, are they withholding the name of the album until the full thing's out? And then
I thought that as well.
Yeah.
Or a record label, like, dude, we got a new record label. It's called Private Music. If you all these little Deftone bands, we're gonna scoop you up. Scoop. I thought that's what they were gonna do. That would have been a better move.
Oh, that's a good idea. Actually, there's a few out there. A few copycats.
Many.
Yeah.
New gaze. It's got its own genre.
My top 2 tracks for this album are "My Mind Is a Mountain" and "Ecdysis."
Ecdysis, yeah.
Ecdysis. I'm a fan of the whole album. To be fair, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised because the last 2 albums, in my humble opinion, haven't been their best.
I think you're fair to say that. I think that, as you said, Ohms was maybe slightly better than Gore in certain ways. I think they've been on a steady improvement, but I think Nick Raskulinecz, the producer, had a massive impact on what makes Private Music so good.
Mm-hmm. He's done some of their better albums in the past.
Yeah, like one of our favourite albums, Koi, Diamond Eyes, where they changed the whole sounds. They went for that punchy, almost gent influence, like 8-string. I know they've always done that, but to be kind to them, it never sounded that good until Nick came in Diamond Eyes. And then I think it was not just Deftones, I think just modern production got better. Like, if you listen to those old Korn albums as well, that low end just doesn't cut through the way it does now.
Yeah, I think this is one that's going to be stuck around for a little bit. And the album is doing numbers. It's doing very well. They've been away for a long time, and they've come back with some properly catchy songs. In at number 4 is Whitechapel's Hymns in Dissonance.
Damn.
Controversial take here. I think this might be Whitechapel's heaviest album ever, and that's going up against the Somatic Defilement and their other sort of earlier releases.
In my head, I think because it was one of the first deathcore albums I heard, Somatic Defilement is just like ridiculously heavy. But maybe to people looking back now, maybe they wouldn't think the same thing. Yeah,
I mean, they had like a raw heaviness, and it was almost
you'll never fucking get.
When I I heard that album when probably soon after it came out. It came out in like 2007, I think. And around that time, you'd also have bands like Job for a Cowboy, Oceano. They were sort of in that era. A lot of songs or albums coming out of like the Nuclear Blast records.
That is Murder as well.
That is Murder. Those have a raw heaviness like the earlier Whitechapel albums, but they're going back, comparing them to this album, they're very thin. The lyrics are like almost comical in how grossly inappropriate they are. Hymns in Dissonance is just it's unrelentless. How unrelentless?
It's relenting.
It's very relenting in how Hymns in Dissonance is relentlessly heavy. I think Phil Bozeman actually said that at one point, like it is almost supposed to be that. It does not let up with how cruel it is on the listener, but it's done so tastefully. It kind of puts you in hell when you're listening to it. It's a brutal album. It has this maturity to it that they've kind of developed over the years that I found. Songs like the title track, Hymns in Dissonance, and Bedlam. So yeah, I do think it is it's without a doubt their heaviest album. The 2 albums we had before it were The Valley and Kin. I think The Valley was based on True Event. It had that song Hickory Creek, which actually did really well for Whitechapel. I actually went back. Those two albums are some of the most listened to Whitechapel albums of all time.
Really?
Weirdly, I couldn't believe that. But Hickory Creek was a huge song. This album came out swinging with just an aggression I did not expect.
I need to give Whitechapel more time, to be honest. I don't know. There's just something about them where I love that Somatic Defilement album so much. And I listened to the one after a little bit. But then when the Flag album came out, they kind of lost me. I was very much in different space and I never quite got back on board. I respect Phil Bozeman as a vocalist though. Like, best thing he's done is that Suicide Silence cover though. He'll never top that.
I don't think anyone can top that.
No one will top that, yeah. But yeah, no, I need to give it more time. I just think they've kind of fallen off my radar a little bit. I'm into more of that modern, like, I have a very particular taste for deathcore. Always have, always will.
Well, it's worth your time if you find some time.
I think I listened when Ben was here and he's very critical. And he was just like, oh, it's a bit... You know when you're kind of influenced by other people, like Josh. Do you remember we were listening to that Dance Kevin Dance album? Josh there, and we were like, "This is fucking shit." Instant gratification, one of the best Dance Kevin Dance.
We all sat down like excited. We were around my house in my bedroom. And we were like, "Oh, it's released today or yesterday." So we all sat down to listen to it. It was like, "This is our favorite band. And they've just released their newest album." Oh. We all sat down and listened to it, and because Josh was in the room, and he must have had some kind of spell on us because we were almost skipping tracks. We were like, "This is the worst."
Josh is very influential.
We actually thought Dance Kevin Dance have fucked their career. Like, this is the worst. This is the worst business move they could have made.
You know what was so funny is that, like, up until a variation, because that song was so good, we broke Josh's spell. But up to that point, we were like, "Oh, Shark Dad, like, this is the best," because that was the one song Josh was like, "Is it right?"
That is hands down my least favourite song on the album.
Exactly. That, like, do you remember when Variation came on and we were all like, then we broke Josh's spell. Anyway, we're getting off track. So my basic opinion of it is I like the backward screaming. I thought that was cool. It's nice to see Whitechapel heavy again, but they didn't quite hook me in this time around. You know, you can't win them all, can you?
Win them all.
Catch all the fish.
No, but only the big ones, and I think they caught the big fish this time, coming back with a heavy album.
Didn't catch this big fish.
No. In at number 3, The Devil Wears Prada, Flowers.
Ooh.
This was a late... When did it get released,
Very recently, like a month ago.
Completely forgot that the band existed. And then coming up to the top 5 albums of the year, I started listening to more albums, and I put this one on, and it shot to number 3. It's probably my third favourite Devil Wears Prada album ever.
Damn.
With Roots Above is probably my favourite, and 818 is my second favourite.
What about Colour Decay?
Didn't listen to it a lot.
Oh, mate, Colour Decay shits over Flowers.
Yeah. And it's the Zombie EP, which is great too, but like, I just haven't...
you can't.
I've heard snippets, but I haven't really sat down and enjoyed them as albums, whereas those two previous albums that I mentioned, I listened to a lot. They got me hook, line and sinker. They were big albums for me that I played a lot. Learned them for various reasons on drums.
They're the biggest they've ever been.
This is what their...
2005 was their first album. I mean, this is their 20th year of being a band. That is fucking mental. A lot of the fan base have voiced their disappointment in this album because they have gone for that more LA songwriter vibe. It's probably the poppiest album they've had, even though it's still sad. It's got a lot of pop elements, and it's not riff driven. Some people like you still love it, but I think
I like the production. Like it still felt thematically gloomy, but the production felt brighter and it felt cleaner. There was just more clarity, and that really resonated with me.
9th album
or instrumental.
Crazy, isn't it?
That is crazy.
Yeah, I'm actually quite shocked to see that there, but I'm happy because I have a bias with Devil Wears Prada. They were my favourite band at one point in time. I absolutely love them. Colour Decay was probably my favourite album of 2022.
Really?
Yeah, that is by far my favourite album. I think maybe because I was so into that album, I didn't have the energy to sort of give it to them again. Does that make sense?
I really like that White album as well. I only liked
Transit Blues.
Transit Blues has a song called Worldwide,
is a banger.
Which I think is one of their better songs. Like, that might be top 5.
I wanna get lost in you, Tokyo. Don't know what to say to you. Brilliant song. And also The Key to Evergreen. Do you remember that? That's on there as well. There's that was where Mike started to really make his voice really upfront and raw and almost melodic hardcore in places. I think that's actually one of their most hated albums, Transit Blues.
Yeah,
you like all the fucking outliers, man, don't you?
Top tracks for me are For You and Where the Flowers Never Grow.
For You is so catchy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's been in my head like since I've listened to it.
That's what I found about this album. Like, even if it might have more of a commercial twist that like hardcore fans are a bit upset with. How many monthly listeners?
Have a guess.
400,000? 600,000? 1 million? Really? 1.7 down. 1.5.
1.4.
1.4 million.
Pretty fucking good.
That is pretty good going.
For humble guys.
But they put the work in. 9th album. Congrats.
Fucking love you, Devil's Prada. One of the best bands in the world. I've liked 22 songs by them.
Blimey! Number 2, Coheed and Cambria, the father of Make Believe.
Shit.
This album did take me by surprise because it came out and I did not like it as much at first. It was definitely a grower, not a shower. It's very ambitious. It's 18 tracks. They kind of re-released it with extra tracks that call back to a previous album's tracks. They kind of do continuation tracks where they have like, I think it's called...
it's like the Robot of Human Hair part
Kind
7.
of, yeah. They have parts. Weird mix of genres as well. It's probably the most genre-bending album. I wasn't actually sure what direction they were going in. I thought they might be going in a more sort of electronic / stadium rock direction, but then they brought back some kind of older pop punk post-hardcore style. They are probably pulling in all of their best subgenres and putting it in one place. Top tracks for me are Searching for Tomorrow, Tethered Together, and Peter the Wishing. All worth checking out. I thought they were phenomenal tracks for an album this late in their career. You know what? It's not my favourite Coheed album. I don't think it ever will be. But I was surprised to see such an energetic album come out from them. This is Vax's 3 out of a 3-part story they're telling right now. Vax's 2, that blew me away, and I did not know what direction they were going to go in after that one. But this one is a continuation of a lot of like stories that I just haven't had the time or headspace to look into. I love looking into the lore and how they tell these stories in different albums, and there's a few bands I will do that for. Coheed it requires so much of your attention. I believe that Claudio, he does kind of graphic novels and he writes very in-depth stories, and these albums tell storylines of these characters that he's created, and it's really interesting to see where that's going.
I've actually never heard a Coheed and Cambria album. I've heard songs, but yeah, that's just a band I've never clicked with.
I'll have to give you a few. I'll give you a few tips and a few. I think you would really jam to a few of their tracks. It can get quite almost like theatrical at times.
I think that's what's put me off is the vocals just a little bit.
I'll have to curate a kind of a playlist for you, but I think they're a band that would surprise you, and you would find something that you really like about them.
I'm open to it.
Yeah, very talented guitar work. The drummer is a drummer's drummer, like he's loved by all. And Claudio is just, you could not. There's probably not a nicer man in the metal scene. He's just clearly such a legend. And number 1, we've got Even in Arcadia by Sleep Token.
Hell yeah!
You could probably guess that. This is their shortest album to date. It's only 10 tracks. And you could probably guess it's also their least alternative or least heavy album by a country mile. I was listening through. For this episode, I was almost considering like actually timing how the duration of the album and timing
the heavy sections,
like timing how much the heavy sections take up, even if there's any distorted guitars that take up any time on this record, because it is light on that part. I still think Take Me Back to Eden is their magnum opus. I do think that is the kind of like their masterpiece in my opinion. I don't think they could do better than that for me, just because of the story that they tell, and then it feels like it closes a book there. But Even in Arcadia did surprise me. I mean, unfortunately for a 10-track album there are 2 skippers for me, which does hurt because it's otherwise a very well written album. But
what ones?
We got Past Self and Dangerous. They're just skippers for me. They just don't hit the mark. I think that's reflected in their play count as well.
What's the song that's go ahead, wrap your arms around me?
Emergence.
That's still my favourite.
I think that was the first single they released, and that was that's still. I haven't listened to it in ages, or I stopped listening to it because I was so saturated with how much I heard it. And then when it comes back on sort of rotation, I'm like, I can't believe this might be my favourite Sleep Token song. It's not, but unbelievable. This album basically just dials up almost everything that I like about them. Like the lyrics are more raw, they're more introspective. Even the vocal processing is more dialed in. Like he does, he gets, there's some parts that are, he has like that formant sort of effect on his voice sometimes. I feel there's better choices made of when that's actually when that comes in, or when there's like hard pitch correction that's been used really tastefully in a couple of songs. The harmonies are even more like vast and they're more expansive than they were before, where they're kind of doing crazy stuff there. Guitars take on a completely different role. Like I said, it's like their lightest album, so the guitars play even the part of a harp at times, or even more like synth lead when they're not being used as a kind of wall of sound, which you get in the heavier parts, because their breakdowns are now, I think there might be only 2 sort of breakdowns on the album, and they are they play the part of just a wall of sound, something that just really drives home this piece in the music. One thing that really surprised me is that there's a track called Gethsemane, which has like a math rock part in it. It completely caught me off guard. It's got like that Midwest emo math rock, which is just a genre they haven't touched on. I never thought I'd hear that. But that blew me away, and they did it so tastefully. And there's one. It's either in the last track or it's in the title track. The guitarist stole a lick from David Gilmour off. There's a song called "Shine On You, Crazy Diamond," and there's like literally he uses that guitar lick, like a famous guitar lick that he puts in this in this Sleep Token track. It's really surprised me. Top tracks for me, you mentioned Caramel. It has to be up there. I don't know. I think it's a very well made
great song.
Like it's not metal by any stretch. Not many of their songs are, but it's one of my favorites. So is Provider, so is Emergence, and Gethsemane is honestly a masterpiece. And I want to play that for you at some point if you haven't heard it yet. So
no, I need to listen to that more. I think I have flicked through the album, but I haven't given it a proper time. I think I was sort of saving it to listen to with you, or I was going to do an episode, just didn't happen.
That's my top 5.
Hell yeah, excellent picks. Yeah, some surprising ones, some not so surprising ones. You can't really argue with them. I don't know enough about Coheed and Cambria to argue, but the rest of them I think make perfect sense to me.
So what are your top 5 albums of the year?
Orthodox, A Door Left Open. It kicks off my list like a medium rare steak. It's so raw, you shouldn't eat it, but you keep going back for more. How like gravelly the tone is. It's dry as fuck. It's a dry lunch. It's proper gym bangers. It's like music you bump when you're down the gym and you want to get that extra rep in. It's just very replayable. They nail that 2000s metalcore vibe. Drums, breakdowns, call outs. It's just satisfying from front to back. My favorite songs are Searching for a Pulse, Sacred Place. This album, it wasn't like a showstopper when it came out. It was very much an album that grew on me over time, and I just kept wanting to go back to it. Like when I first heard it, it was a bit overhyped because a lot of people like recommended it to me because they know I love that new metalcore vibe, and I was almost a bit like, was that it? But it serves a purpose that you know what it did. It scratched the itch to the boundaries of last year, exactly like Boundaries, I'd say. But yeah, it's very much that in that vein. So number 4, Landmarks, The Darkest Place I've Ever Been. So I think this is Landmarks' best album yet. The first single, Creature, blew me away. Like I know it came out probably last year now, but when I first saw them in 2024 and they played this live, you know how good they are live. I don't know if you've seen videos or seen them. It was a jaw-dropping moment. Like I don't get wowed very often, but when I do, I like to give credit where credit's due, and that they were supporting Dead West Prada, actually. I saw
really?
Them. Yeah.
That's a good fit, actually.
No, sorry. Dead West Prada was supporting them.
Really?
Yeah.
They've been climbing a steep hill, and they've been doing it very well, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been putting in the work.
I would say like earlier in their career, they were definitely kind of genre hopping in order to get on trends. So I do have a slight sour taste in my mouth about them, because I felt like they were trying to solve something for an audience, and they would take any audience that would have them at a certain point in their career. But I hope now that they are finding their feet and finding their sound and doing that instead of, trying to find their audience through any means necessary, instead of being legitimate, authentic and legitimate to the sound that they want to put out. I
think, it's like they were almost like chasing that. And then they just started to be true to themselves, and that's when they got the success. It does feel like that. I don't know if that is the case, unless it's just super dialed in. But yeah, no, ever since like lockdown and they had that album
Lost in a Wave,
that was a song. It might have been the album as well, but yeah, that era and the rapping just like really brought me in. I think Flo as a vocalist as well is so talented to be able to do those like Chester style screams, the rapping, screaming, the lows, like he can do it all. But yeah, unbelievable album. Blood Red is also another massive highlight. Like me and Jake, like absolutely love that song, and seeing them live at Slam Dunk, I think it was incredible live. A Line in the Dust with While She Sleeps, not Loz,
it's Matt.
I thought that was a really cool moment for them to show respect to While She Sleeps, our OGs from Sheffield. Yeah, that was a really nice touch. It's cool to get like the guitarist and the backing vocalist in instead of, it doesn't always have to be the main vocalist that features. That was a real standout. But yeah, there's just no real skips on that album. I think it's just, even though there's some songs I prefer than others, I think it's just a well put together album. I think they're raising the bar for live bands as well. Like I think that's their superpower. Every time I've seen them, they've been the best band I've seen, and I've seen them at festivals audibly. Like they fucking rip every time.
That's one thing I've thought about them for a long time, whether I've liked them or not. They've had, like, it's clear they've put a lot of attention into their sound, whether it's just how hard that they've practiced. I wouldn't say it's choreographed, but there is a level of dialed in that they've been that does just wipe the floor with other artists. Even in their earlier shows, having lighting equipment that they would push to have on stage, that was just, it gave them an edge. Their sort of pre-production backing tracks and stuff, there is something there that gave them a winning edge a lot of the time. Yeah,
I think they put a lot of skill points into their live performance. I think they always have. I think more recently it's been the songs and stuff, maybe not in the beginning. They've really doubled down on just how it sounds live and having those extra bits, which now they can afford like comfortably, and it's paid dividends now. I think they're a good band to have in the scene, because I genuinely think the reason I said raise the bar is they are raising the competition, because other bands in that genre and in that vein are going to be looking at Landmarks and be like, fucking hell. Like it almost felt like when I saw them at Slam Dunk, Stray from the Path, I think, played before or afterwards. Flo came out for one of Stray's songs, and it almost felt like Stray from the Path were passing the torch to Landmarks in a way, because obviously they're breaking up, unfortunately. They had their last show the other day, I think yesterday. You know, Stray from the Path, they've been like, you know, this is us done. That's one less band. The other bands that are in that genre are going to have to think, fuck, like we've got to do something to compete with this level. And I think that they make the other bands in the scene better, because they obviously are so hardworking and so live focused. Yeah. Number 3, Deftones, Private Music. Nice. They had to make the list, and I almost feel bad putting them number 3. Them obviously being my favorite band, but yeah, it's not my favorite Deftones album, but it's my favorite Deftones album since Koino Yakan, as you said as well.
Same.
Totally agree with you on that. I think it's better than Gore. It's better than Ohms. I think I overhyped it and overplayed it a bit when it first came out. But like every Deftones album, they're all made for replayability and they grow on you. Nick Raskulinecz, like, is great to have him back on board. I think they needed to go back to that sound. I think just from a biased point of view, I think he's made some of their best albums. So lovely to have him back. It echoes that Koino Yakan, Diamond Eyes era, which I love, and it still adds something different. It's not like they're trying to replicate that. It's like they know what they're so like locked into their song. Like Deftones put all their skill points into the songwriting, and they're just so like elite at songwriting and making unique art pieces. Like, yeah, I think this will be looked back on. I don't think every Deftones album is a growing album, and people react differently over time. I think that like, I'll look back and I might even think, why is this number 3? Because like I know every Deftones album grows on you.
Yeah, I've had them switch places almost in my ranking over the years. Like they do have that effect.
It definitely deserves to be in their discography. It's not an outlier by any means. But yeah, it's expansive yet distinct to their sound. Like they definitely tried a few different things. Like there's the lowest I've ever heard Chino sing on the Departing the Body on the finale. That was a really interesting moment. But yeah, some of my favorites were Ecdysis, Infinite Source. Absolutely love that song. That's been a bit of a grower. It's a bit more like chill, but premium. Cut Hands, love that one. CXZ. Yeah, like you can tell it's going to be a grower that I haven't written off barely any of the songs. I'm like, yeah, these are the songs I like now, but they are on constant rotation. But yeah, I'm absolutely in love with the album. It's so nice that my favorite band is still going, and they've been going since '89. Like, we're talking about Devil Wears Prada being a band with legacy. Like, Deftones have been going 15 years longer, 16 years longer. So yeah, 35 years. That's fucking mental, isn't it?
That is mad.
Number 2, Architects.
Holy shit.
The Sky, the Earth, and all in between. Yeah, I absolutely love this album. I didn't think it was going to be in the top 5, definitely not 2 when I first heard it, because it is a bit of a showstopper. Like, you know, it hasn't got that much replayability because it's got a lot of pop in there, and it's got a lot of show-stopping single moments. Yeah, songs like Curse, Seeing Red were on repeat from last year when they came out. And still now, like, I still absolutely love those songs when I've gone back to it. I have had a bit of a break to it. It's had a bit of a renaissance even this year for me, because I did maybe overplay it and saw them, really connected with that era. But yeah, even some of the songs I maybe looked over, like Chandelier and Evil Eyes, Judgment Day, those songs weren't like top picks for me. Like, when I first heard it, I fell for the singles like Seeing Red, Curse, Whiplash. And yeah, when you stack up all those songs, the quality there is undeniable for me. And I think that when you compare it to other metalcore albums and modern metal albums, I think it absolutely deserves to be up there. It's given me the first 6 months of the year, it's probably my most played album, and it's had a renaissance recently. So if you're doing it by the time, it absolutely deserves to be number 2. They absolutely killed it in Brighton. I think that helps as well, connecting with the band live. It always gives the band a bit of bias for their album.
Yeah, they're a local band for us. They're from Brighton. We've been with them since early releases. So there is an amount of loyalty there. Even pride, I guess, even when their releases, like, regardless of how I feel about maybe some of their more recent releases, I will always make an effort. They will always get my money. They're a band that I hold very dear and have been with for a very long time. So I think I have fallen away from some of their more recent releases. I won't talk on that too much, but I will always be there for their local show, and I like them for all the same reasons that you do.
No, I think Jordan Fish has been a really good pairing with Architects. I know that, like, it seems like everything Jordan touches turns to gold, and it is a little bit like that, but you know, he only chooses projects that have a big engine and have a lot of potential that he kind of wields, because he kind of done that with Ollie and Bring Me. I wouldn't just write it off as like, oh, just it's a Jordan album, like some people have done, unfortunately. I think that, you know, Architects have had a big hand in the songwriting as well. Jordan's a big part of Architects' history. Like, he produced Doomsday, like their biggest song. Like, why wouldn't they go back with him? And it's paid dividends.
He's a talent. If I'm not mistaken, it's Dan he handles most of the machine now.
Yeah. 100%.
Dan Searle, the drummer, I think he took on role as lyric writer and maybe some degree of like the overall songwriting and arrangement too. So pairing him up with Jordan, they obviously have a history together, and it's a very well made match.
It's a match made in heaven.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, Architects get a lot of flack because they were that band. They were the top of metalcore for so long, and then, you know, they've seen over the years bands like Landmarks, like Polaris, like Silent Planet, Currents, all these bands that are taking massive inspiration from Architects. You can't blame them for wanting to go a different direction. It's like they've already done as much as they've 100% completed the map of that modern metalcore sound. They carved their own genre out of it, essentially.
Yeah.
And now other bands are doing that sound for them. So why would they lesser the power of those older albums that are being inspired from still today, like Holy Hell, Our Gods? And personally, I wasn't a massive fan of those later albums. Like, I still love them, don't get me wrong, but because I was so in deep with Lost Together and I loved Early Grave, I put into Architects at that era, and then I was like, oh, it's a bit more of the same. I like it. But I did move to some of those other bands that brought something new and different in. And this new era of Architects, I've just welcomed with open arms, because I was like, finally, like, you're doing something different. And I think it really works. But I totally get the criticism in the same breath. I'm just happy for them still going. Another thing they've been taking flack for as well is Sam's live. Like, I put him in my top 5 live vocalists, and people are like, oh, he wasn't very good live, which I think is a bit unfair because he's been killing it for so long. And one bad tour, or like, you know, he might just no one knows what's going on, but
everyone's got their favourite vocalist. It's hard to compare vocalists these days. I mean, he's a completely different genre, or different British. He has different energy level, maybe different energy levels to certain other. He doesn't have the same flair. It's talent there and power.
Well, when we saw them, I thought they were great, but apparently recently he hasn't been as good. But,
that could be down to anything. They've got 1,000 live show like recordings online, even professionally recorded ones. Yeah, and he sounds phenomenal. And you listen to the way he screams. Jesus, he's putting some power behind this.
People were pissed that I put him in the list.
No, he deserves it.
Architect's really fallen from grace that hard.
I don't think so. Just I don't know. I don't think there's haters. I think people are just maybe comparing him to
Flow mainly. So number 1, I've actually got the vinyl for this one, so I'm going to grab it out. Thornhill Bodies, number 1. They turned me into a super fan this year. I could not believe how much this has been in my rotation. This has been played like nearly every day in this flat.
I've been such a knobhead about that this year.
Yeah, man. I had an early shout out. I was like, this is album of the year material, because I knew how much I loved it. Got Alan on for an episode. He absolutely slated it, which I love, to be fair.
Run it back. I think it was one of the most underwhelming and forgettable albums.
Really?
Yeah. I've got such a high standard now for albums, especially track 1s, and I thought that was the biggest moist flannel of a song.
Really?
It was so generic for a track 1, an absolute snooze fest. I was a bit bored. There's a song, Tongues. It was like an unpleasant version of Command Control.
I prefer it to Command Control. Weird,
Shut up.
I do.
No, you don't.
I do. I think it's a better song than Command Control.
Are you joking? I'd appreciate it if bands didn't directly take off what Deftones do, because they are riding the coattails a bit.
It was like almost like Sweet Revenge, because they supported Sleep Token. I was like, your boys think they're all right.
Matey Boy records, they're all right.
Felt like some vindication. I think you were a little bit harsh to judge on this one, man.
Something about them rubs me the wrong way, and that chucking around 1 and 2 stars, and I haven't returned. They left no lingering taste in my mouth other than a sour one. But let me hear it. Let me hear your thoughts on this.
So yeah, I was absolutely obsessed, pardon the pun, with their singles Obsession and Nerve, which technically came out last year now, but they were packaged up nicely onto this vinyl right here. Tongues, Under the Knife is a massive grower, Silver Swarm, like those 5 songs, they have all been my favourite and rotated throughout the year. It's such a premium quality album with excellent songwriting that it shifted like a Deftones album would. Not many bands do that. I normally make my mind up early, maybe a few switch arounds, but to have all 5 of them proves that it's a good album in my books. Hot take here, it's kind of what I wished the Deftones album sounded like. Like, if Deftones brought out this album, I would fucking love it. It is what it is, though. It's not Deftones, it is Thornhill. It's so easy to make the Deftones comparison, but there is a lot that they offer that Deftones don't, and there's some stuff that I think they do better. Deftones carved out that sound. It's a bit like Architects with bands like Polaris and Currents, etc., Silent Planet. Bands inspire bands. It's always happened. Those big bands at the top of their game, like Deftones, that are one of the biggest metal bands in the world, you're going to get bands that inspire from them. And I completely done a 180 on this, by the way, because I was where I know you are and kind of like looking down on them a little bit. I think it's because they're my favourite band and I want to be supportive of this genre they've spawned. But I suppose there's different ways you can look at it, but I'd rather be a lover than a hater, and I'm glad I opened my heart to those new gaze bands because they pay dividends now, because I fucking love this album. It deserves this. Let me grab an award for it. I want to present to you, Thornhill Vinyl, this
Album of the Year,
the first Metal Lounge Award Album of the Year. Number 1, baby. Number 1. I'm gutted I didn't see them this year. That's what I really wanted. They played at a really inconvenient time, but I will see them soon. That's my top albums of 2025. Let me know yours down below. Fun fact about my albums, all of the covers are green and blue. But I just wanted to give some honourable mentions. So this one very nearly got in there. A part of me would have put it there. Callous Dowboys. I respect the creativity and the authenticity more than Orthodox, because Orthodox does kind of sound like Boundaries, and it's just kind of generic in a way. 2000s, like, actual metalcore, and they are just so wacky. They've got the violin, these weird Japanese like jazz sections, like all sorts of wacky sections. It's a really interesting listen. It's not what you want to put on when you're at the gym and hasn't got the best replayability. It's very much an active listen. Songs like Tears on My Lambo, Lemon, absolutely love that album. Afterlove, the vocalist of Siamese, is side project. Copenhagen Closure is unbelievable album. It's only 9 tracks, so it's a little bit short, but yeah, some some songs on that, House of Glass, Industry Dreams, like high on my playlist this year. One album which was a tad disappointing, Novelists. It was just a classic, like the singles came out first and then you have all this high expectation. It didn't quite meet it. Saw them live, a little bit of Radar as well. They're impeccable live. They're my top 3 honourable mentions.
So my honourable mentions, I'm going to start with The Starting Line. They released Eternal Youth this year. Didn't expect an album out of them, to be fair. It kind of came out of nowhere for me. They are a pop punk band, but I was under the impression maybe they'd stopped being a band. This was a nice surprise. They kind of did like this EP that was not their sound at all, which I thought was nice, but yeah, I honestly thought they were just going to disappear, and they came out with a very confident album that I really liked. It didn't quite make the top 5, but Spiritbox, Tsunami Sea, didn't quite make my top 5. I don't know what it was missing. On the whole, it was I found a lot of the songs tended to blend into one. There was not a lot of memorable takes,
but it still made your honourable mentions.
It was definitely an honourable mention. It is a compelling album.
Compelling? What was compelling about it?
Compelling, I think Courtney's at her best. She was trying new things. They have male backing vocalists from the bassist backing vocals in the studio album, I believe. Probably the heaviest they've ever sounded on some of the tracks. You mentioned that you saw them live and you actually were kind of blown away with
that's true. Yeah,
how heavy they were.
Heavy doesn't actually mean good.
No, it doesn't always translate to good. And I'm somebody that doesn't listen to a lot of heavy music anymore.
I liked Black Banana, Black Rainbow. Thought that was a good track. Spiritbox, spoiler, is in one of my categories later. You'll find out.
Samesies. For number 3, it's a toss-up. I'll go Dying Wish put out an amazing album, and I'm sure it's amazing. I've just heard snippets of it, and it deserves an honourable mention because Dying Wish are a band to watch right now. Female-fronted death metal, like Dying Wish deserve a mention for their latest album. It's worth checking out. And President, for the EP they put out this year, ignored this band because I was quite pissed off that there was another masked band coming out, and then quickly realised it was one of my favourite singers.
Did I tell you that?
You
recently?
did, yeah, you did tell me.
No
you were like, obviously, it's back and listen to it. And I was like, holy shit. And I realised, and I've been following it. I've always loved his voice. I was a huge Busted fan when I was younger. Turned into a big Fight Star fan. Fight Star have been through all kinds of genres. I don't like every song, but this EP I thought was like, it was beautiful. Yeah, it doesn't make top 5 because it's just not an album.
Doesn't it annoy you how like manufactured and how like that they're blatantly copying Sleep Tokens? It just seems a bit tacky.
I don't know.
A bit manufactured for me. If it wasn't I'd think that.
Yeah, there's something hypocritical about me liking them. So I'm in a weird place with them. I love voice. Is it okay to say his name? Is that out there or?
I think that because you're getting a lot of the fans of Sleep Token, they probably won't want you to say that.
But he's been in several other bands and has such a distinctive voice. He's even been on like Masked Singer and shows like that, like where it's like, oh, who's singing? He's in a costume and he comes on and sings covers, and then at the end of the competition or whatever, they take off the cosplay mask and it's him underneath. He's got a distinctive voice, so I don't think it's a huge secret that he's.
But so does bloody Vessel.
But he hasn't been in. He's been in one other band, which was like a uni band. Maybe it's bleep it out.
People are going to get pissed off at anything.
Yeah, they're my honourable mentions.
Nice, controversial picks actually.
What are your top 5 songs of 2025?
Number 5, A Day to Remember, All My Friends. I genuinely think this is one of the most infectiously catchy choruses ever written.
It's horrifically catchy,
especially in pop punk. My girlfriend fucking hates it, but I love it. It's just a summer banger. Like, it just got me in the mood. It reminded me of Young and Dumb by Issues. It just took me back to those Pebsham summers of being a kid, hanging out in Pebsham, Bexhill. It's just, how could you not love it? It's just like
harmless fun. Yeah,
it's harmless fun. Being on the Metal Lounge and analysing music and stuff, it's like you can take the magic out of music, but that brought it back home to me in a way. I heard that and it just made me listen to it through different ears. It's just pure party fuel. It literally, you put that on in the sun, having a Corona, everyone's going to be having a good time. It's going to elevate the mood and the vibe. Music serves a purpose. It is like magic, and I think that song has a bit of that star power, that summer party fuel magic. And I've almost got future nostalgia listening to All My Friends. It's an instant classic. Number 4, Orthodox, Searching for a Pulse. This song has just been mad repeated so many times. it really scratches that boundaries itch, just that visceral, raw, dirty sound that I love and I crave on an almost daily basis. Don't know what that says about me, but also for you normies, gym playlist, that was meant to be the title track, like the album was going to be Searching for a Pulse, and it really encapsulates the album. I think that's one criticism of the album I have, is there's not too many deep tracks. That's not what it's trying to achieve. It's a bit surface level. It's a bit kind of meathead with like a hint of avant-garde and sort of style in there. But that song for me has the most character and style. I really gravitate towards it. Now we're on to the big dogs. Number 3, Dayseeker, Pale Moonlight.
Banger.
The low production in this song needs to be studied. Like, I don't know what it is, but the fucking low end just hits me in all the right places. Hits my G-spots. It's a hypnotic chorus. It's one of their best choruses they've ever made. I'm straight up addicted to Roy Rodriguez's voice. Like it's he's just got just such a premium silky voice. It's like fucking...
It's honey.
It's like nectar on my ears, just like massaging my eardrums. I could listen to it all day, and I do some days. Absolutely love that song. It's been one of my most repeated songs for sure. Number 2. Oh, this was so close to being number 1. Baby Metal featuring Poppy, From Me to You. Oh my God. World-class chorus.
I haven't heard this one.
Phenomenal heavy sections. When you think it can't get better, there's a key change at the end. It's just like super dopamine injected fun. It's just such a fucking well-crafted song. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. I think this turned me into a bit of a Poppy super fan. I've always been a big Baby Metal collab fan, like ever since Kingslayer, and I think this song gives Kingslayer a run for its money. I think it's more replayable. The chorus is unbelievable. Yeah, I can't say enough about this song. It's just like, you know how some songs just hit and you want to hear it straight away? Definitely deserves one of the top spots. But number 1, it has to be a Thornhill song. Could have been any of the other 4 of my other favourites out of Silver Swarm, Obsession, Nerve, Under the Knife. But if I had to pick one, yeah, I think Tongues is the one. It's punchy, it's groovy, it's stylish. It just instantly takes me to this place of when I first heard this and was wowed by it. Special place in my heart, because this was the hook that brought me into the album in a way. I think there's probably some I prefer more now. Yeah, it was my first love. In love with it. Those are my top 5 songs of the year. Let me know yours in the comments. I'm genuinely interested to hear it. Alan, what are your top 5 songs of the year?
Number 5, we've got More Than Hate by Bill Murray. Again, this came out of nowhere for me. They'd released their previous album. This is their first single back. Goes without question, Bill Murray are on a generational run right now. They cannot miss. They've just been releasing banger after banger. They did have a shaky period at one point where even, John said that he wasn't sure about. He had a very experimental album. It was the one that has the guy bench pressing on the front cover, the pink one. I forget what it's called. He was unsure about that album just because it was just, it was all over the place genre-wise. Maybe he wasn't as proud of the songwriting, but then he was genuinely very happy with how American Motorsports came out songwriting. Was he could happily stamp his name on those songs.
He said that was like his most proudest album,
which is big for a songwriter to say about their own stuff, because you can be so in your own head about them. So it was nice for him to say that about this, and I think this carries on into the singles the single that is now out, More Than Hate, reminded me a lot of 2016 Cavaliers. Ohio, that song, but with more like with nuts. Like it has some boost, some boost, Monster Munch. It has some balls on it.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like the heavy part of it. It adds like the meat.
Similar to that song, there's like a lot of vocal fry where he's singing. There's just a lot of it's just a lot of honey, a lot of warmth to his voice on that song specifically. You'll notice it in if we listen to it again, you'll notice it on the verses. There's like a lot of vocal fry. Yeah, no, I like that there's some distinct differences. Not that I think Johnny Frank personally would do this, but most people in his position, if they came out of an album like that's so successful, and it might be easy to just rinse and repeat, but he's purposely gone out of his way to think, how can I make this different but still good? And I think he's pitched it perfectly. He's gone for obviously a little bit more hardcore heavy sound while adding that grit, and I think it's a real smart move. And this track obviously has that amazing YouTube video with the Hogman being found in the woods, so it's just great. Like obviously before he was doing all the stuff like with the lawnmowers that were just getting more and more extreme with each video, and now it's like Bigfoot sighting kind of stuff. I just love that he's kind of creating, because when somebody's like a meme artist, like you could worry that they're gonna maybe miss or do something that's like cringe, but he's kind of creating his own memes, and it's so on brand and so funny. So like amazing track that came out this year. So number 4 is one that you probably, I don't know if you've heard. It's called "In My Room" by Julia Wolf. This song is disgustingly catchy. It's been in my head since it came out. I actually first, and I think most people probably heard the original version of it, that doing its rounds on Instagram Reels or TikTok. It was like a mix with a guy called Badger, and it was just this kind of looped vocal part that was a kind of drum and bass song. So I kind of put her in this category that, she's going to be like, there's an artist called Wet, or maybe she'd be like Anna of the North, or I don't know. I thought she'd be in this category, but she put out an album with this song on it. It was a single and it went on an album that was such a strange mix of genres. So it's like this swaying emo rock song, but has like a really overqualified guitarist and drummer. So I recommend going to check out In My Room. But there's another song, and it's the first song on the album, called "Kill You Off," and this starts off a genre that you won't necessarily like. It's kind of like hip hop, well pop and trip hop and kind of like female pop, but then it turns into this like metal grunge and like crazy breakdown. I'd recommend going to check out that song and then going back and finding track 1 on the album. It's called "Kill You Off," and it blends like modern pop, grunge, trip hop, and like even metal, like really tastefully. It's a strange mix, but from the first track that you hear, if you were to go back through the album and give it a real listen through, you would not believe the kind of weird metal she's incorporating into this album. It's such a creative and expansive, like genre bending album, and it's been in my head since it came out. Number 3 is "Wearing Thin" by No Pressure. This is Parker Cannon's side project they're doing numbers. They're doing well, and it's probably a nice break from the story so far, which feels a lot more real, especially with more recent albums. But this No Pressure stuff does sound like a lot more fun. Maybe not as much pressure, but it's, they released like a 2-tracker sort of, I guess they call it like a promo or whatever. It felt like it could have been right off their self-titled album that had like Nerve and Smile and songs like that. It feels like production-wise and his sort of vocal presence-wise, it feels like it's right off that era for him, which is nice for him to kind of like go back to that sort of, not aggression, but most of their songs are like 1 to 2 minutes long.
Exactly.
Or on average, at least. Yeah, like, I mean, it's a weird phenomenon with the story so far, and even No Pressure now. He just has this talent for writing lyrics that people just almost accidentally memorize. And when you watch these recordings of them playing live, you would not believe how loud the fans get singing every single word from their releases. I can't believe that his lyrics just are embedded in the brains of the fan base like that.
That's so impressive.
Everyone knows the lyrics to like their favorite bands, but no one sings them like The Story So Far or No Pressure fans.
I think it's like very encouraged in that genre. It's kind of like an echo chamber. Not that's the wrong word.
And it just becomes this thing where everybody puts themselves in his position and can sing those lyrics to somebody that they know almost. So you're right. It is like an echo chamber where everybody's in the same boat and can feel those things with him and relay and relay those lyrics back to the band.
No, you're right. Echo chamber. I take that back. That was the right term. A fair weather fan with Story So Far, and that's the perfect analogy because I only really like listening to them in the summer, but mostly summer's past, not summer's present. So they're a band I need to go back to. I'd like you to curate me a Story So Far or No Pressure playlist.
I will. Maybe we'll put those playlists on the in the YouTube description.
Yeah.
Can you do that on the Metal Lounge Spotify? Yeah. Let's do a couple. Let's do 2025.
I'll run it up. Yeah, I've started to make more playlists, so that'll be a good one.
Number 2, Perfect Soul by Spiritbox.
Damn.
Easily my favorite song on the record. It actually reminded me of my favorite Spiritbox song, which is Perennial. They've got like a short album or EP of just singles, similar vibe, similar song structure. and just there's a reason it's my favorite song. I can't even tell you that it works for me so well. It has multiple factors in it that just blow me away. The like I mentioned earlier, the bassist plays a role in some of the backing vocals.
You really like this bassist, don't you?
Doing bits like he's got a voice on him. Like I was watching their.
Has he got a perfect soul?
I hope he does. I'm praying for him.
You wouldn't need to pray for him if he had a perfect soul. He'd
Very
be praying
true.
for you.
Yeah, Josh Gilbert, pray for me. I was watching their Rock Am Ring performance. They that's all filmed and it's on their channel.
Is it pro? I might play along to that later.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to make you watch me play along to it badly later.
I'm going to invite you around and make you watch me play it.
Force weed down your throat.
Down my throat. Yeah, I was watching that. I was watching the full set, and Perfect Soul was like halfway through their set, and it took me out of it because I was like, oh.
It's just fucking periphery worship.
It's number 2. It is 100% number 2 for me. It is a gorgeous song. If you've been ignoring it like Forrest has, if you don't think it's worth your time, go close your eyes, put your headphones in and listen to it. Shut out every other distraction and just listen to it without distraction.
I take umbrage with that.
It's enjoyable. You will. Well, if you don't like it,
I'm full of umbrage right now.
Full of umbrage.
Strongly disagree with that, but go on.
Well, Spiritbox weren't even in your top. They weren't even an honourable mention for you, so I'm not surprised that you don't take a liking to it.
But they do get a category later.
Oh yeah, but I know what category. It's not going to be a nice category.
It might be.
I know what category it's going in. My number 1 is Gethsemane by Sleep Token.
Really?
You're going to hate this one.
Modern Emergence. How is it better than that?
Oh, don't get me started on how's it better than that. Like it is the standout track on this album, and it actually reminded me a lot of. I don't know if it's my favorite track off the last album. But there's the final track on the album is called Euclid. Beautiful coalescence of felt like every track on the previous album leading up to this point. You kind of get your Take Me Back to Eden penultimate finish. And then Euclid is like a bit of a breath of fresh air after the storm.
A crisp autumn breath.
You're gonna hate this. It's like 6.5 minutes long. Your nightmare. You need it to be 2 minutes of stabby breakdown.
I mean, I'll take 3 minutes.
You take 3 minutes, but it has to be catchy. It has to have hook. It has to have hooks.
Captain Hook.
It's slow and burning and vulnerable. Out of nowhere, it kind of gets launched into this like. This Midwest emo math rock like piece.
Oh, it's that one. That sounds interesting though.
I knew I'd get you with the math rock.
Like Biffy Clyro.
No, not like unbelievable math rock section that I just didn't expect. It's like really beautiful guitars, vulnerable verses that Vessel sings. Then there's like this distant, echoey R&B section. Why are you coming fast? Why are you coming fast? Why are you coming fast?
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. You hit my head right in the car. You fucking blind, you can't see me. Fuck your mate. Fuck your mate. Sorry.
It's like a mini series of different episodes, and it's quite slow and vulnerable in the beginning, and it's painful with the lyrics. Like I know I've sat with you in the lyrics before, and when you've got them in front of you, I think it draws you into the song a little bit more. You can listen to Sleep Token passively. And I know you're not a big fan, but I've noticed that when we've sat with the lyrics and listened to them, it does allow you to kind of put judgment aside a little bit, and you can actually. The intro to this song is crushing. Like some of he's I don't think he's ever been more vulnerable in what he's admitting. And I've said this about Sleep Token before. I kind of miss when it was. They were really mysterious, and it was almost like it wasn't from this plane of existence. It was like, well, there's another dimension that they exist in, and he's not human, and nobody on stage is human, and they don't talk about things about like what did he had a lyric about like his lyrics being boring or certain things like, and that felt like it takes you out of the illusion a little bit.
I felt that
this song does a similar thing in the intro where it feels very quite blatant, but it's so vulnerable that I really don't mind it at all. It kind of wells up to this point, and then there's a bit of a sort of echoey R&B section, which again is an odd genre to listen to in the metal scene, but it just works, kind of like you were saying with Caramel. It's not a genre you would expect, but it's excellent songwriting. Then there's lots of theatrical, not orchestral, but theatrical stabs that are very similar to the ones you get in Euclid. it ends quite nicely where Vessel's kind of on the other side of it, and he's kind of happy with how things are left after he kind of laments on the history that he's had with somebody, going through each of the episodes that he's been with them and admitting to certain nights that have happened or whatever, and then being on the other side of it, looking at it from a bird's eye view, and kind of leaving it on a bit of a...
It's like a romance.
It's a dialogue on a previous relationship. It almost felt like writing this song is like reminding himself why it was so bad for him, why this relationship was so bad, and it finishes off with a bit of a fuck you for that, but I'm on the other side, I'm out of it now. The song name Gethsemane comes from the Garden of Gethsemane, which is where where Jesus was betrayed by Judas.
Oh, that's a nice bit of lore.
Yeah, bit of lore where that comes from. Jesus's most trusted advisor or partner, Judas, betrays him by laying a kiss on him. The kiss of Judas. You've heard of the kiss of Judas, which signals to the guards. It's kind of like a turning point.
Kiss of death. I forgot it was a kiss.
Yeah. The kiss of Judas.
That's so cool.
Yeah. In the story of the Garden of or the agony in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus has the Last Supper, yada yada. They end up in this they kind of retreat to the garden, and there's a lot of garden talk in Sleep Token. There's always one foot in the roses or whatever.
Eden.
And Garden of Eden. There's always a kind of garden through line. I might get this a bit wrong, but Jesus essentially retreats to the Garden of Gethsemane, where he is overwhelmed with stress and sorrow, and he knows he's potentially going to be, arrested or killed or whatever, and he's sweating blood. Like there's a lot of art around this. You can find some stuff. It's very interesting. He suffers there for a long time and is accompanied by Judas, somebody he trusts, and there are soldiers around or looking for Jesus. Judas lays a kiss on Jesus as maybe to comfort him or whatever, but really that kiss is to let the guards know it's time to take him. It acted as a turning point, like now you can grab him and take him off to be crucified. So it's a story of betrayal. In this song, like Vessel is sort of lamenting over his past relationship and the suffering he endured while protecting his partner, going through strife and going through struggles and trauma with his partner, but then telling his friends, everything's fine, or she's just going, he would kind of cover up for her, which can become, it's quite relatable in the first verse, how you might protect the image of your partner if they're going through something, even through all that betrayal. And it's this similar in the song. But through that betrayal of Jesus, he accepts his fate and surrenders. He goes quietly. And that's similar in the end of the song, where Vessel isn't going to fight it anymore. He will go on, even though the pain lingers. He'll go quietly and he'll accept what's happened to him.
Wow, that's cool. Like, growing up with Christianity, like, you feel like you know the whole Bible and everything, and like you heard the story so many times, but it does surprise me every now and again. I like hear something and like read something and you're like, wow, like forgot that it went down like that. You forget that nearly every pop culture media is always inspired from the Bible in one way or another. Everything is, really. Yeah.
And a lot of stories come from it. And I don't know, I hope it wasn't too much of like a lazy connection that he was like, I need to find something in lore that helps me name this song, but it was a really nice connection, I thought.
No, that makes a lot of sense. But the ultimate betrayal of Jesus and Judas, it's where most people would have learnt about betrayal, and obviously he felt like his partner betrayed him in one way or another. So
yeah, and it's very iconic with like the kind of suffering he felt in this place of peace. This is a garden where he lays to suffer and recount his life. And think about what he's been through, and then and maybe try to even make amends with it, but then still be betrayed by the person he trusts, even through everything he's done for them and everything he's done to protect them.
Bitches be crazy.
All right, so the award for Best Newcomer of the Year. Who gets that award from you?
For me, Villanova. Completely stunned by Villanova, their debut album. It's rare in this day and age you get a band that comes onto the scene with that authenticity and that uniqueness. I'd liked a few singles and had been a passive listener, but when their album came out, I was absolutely blown away, especially by the song Rapido. I thought the lyrics were amazing. It was really relatable, but heavy, groovy. Just so many different genre-bending sounds in there. Funk, jazz, R&B. It's got everything in there, but it still keeps it heavy. Vocals are impressive. The riffs like keep me going throughout the album. It's just so avant-garde and weird, but I love it because they still make like memorable hooks. Yeah, I don't think the world are ready for Villanova yet. They seem like a band from the future almost, with how many different genres they blend to them. But it's cool that people are already embracing them. I've seen a lot of people talk about them, including myself. Even at the Plot in You, I saw them the other day, and in between the bands going on, I heard them being played. So obviously they're being liked by band members as well as influencers in the scene. So really cool to see something so far-fetched getting the attention it deserves. See, I'm excited for the future. I think that they could go a long way. They've got really strong branding. Like their album cover is like the vocalist hat and glasses, and he just always wears that in every interview. Their social media is fucking hilarious. Like they're just so locked in. Just every post is like got a bit of like flair and star power. I know that it's not what you should judge music on, but I think just looking at bands' futures, like you can tell a band's healthy if they've got a good social media and they actually like doing it and come up with good content. Yeah, I think they're going places. Villanova.
All right, so awards for the most disappointing albums of the year. I've got a couple in mind. I'm going to start by saying Icy Stars. One, I think they dropped a couple of I think they spunked their best singles immediately when they came out, and when I did a full album playthrough, I became so bored. It didn't capture my attention like they used to. I do hold them on a pedestal for what they've put out in the past. It's just not the direction they should have gone in at all, considering what they used to put out. Treehouse, like it was a left turn. I just found it so displeasing. I'll double up with a disappointing album and say one that I had really high hopes for that really let me down was Dayseeker's album. They have 2 or 3 songs on there that almost went into my top 5 songs of the year. It's exactly what I'd expect from them. And I feel like a bit of a hypocrite because I get annoyed sometimes when bands change their sound and alienate their audience. You also sometimes want a band to develop and grow a little bit, and I felt like they haven't done a thing to move to the next level. So I'm in a conflicted place where I don't know what I want from them, but this album kind of lost me because it felt like, apart from a couple of songs, I wasn't being brought anything new, and nor had their sound been refined in any way and brought up to a new standard where it was all eyes on them. It felt like after a couple of singles and after all of this wait, like time wait, there should have been more to offer. So I was a little bit let down.
So let me just ask you the question then. So Icy Stars did take that bold left turn move, but it didn't pay off, and Dayseeker didn't, and it also didn't pay off. But what do you respect more? Like what? Obviously, it's always kind of braver to take that step, but how would you compare them?
Tough one. Because, like I said, I feel conflicted, and it is hypocritical of me because I expect a band to deliver what they are loved for. They stay on brand, but I also respect when they grow. I feel like Icy Stars maybe grew beyond what was expected of them, or what we expected, and it was a bit of a...
It was a long time, to be fair. It's 2016.
Yeah, that's true. They're different people, arguably. So, that's almost 10 years. I've got to say, I actually respect I respect Dayseeker for sticking to what they know we love, and they're obviously very competent songwriters. And that's not to say the songs aren't good, but I respect that they put out something that they know they're good at. And don't get me wrong, I think a couple of the songs there are probably going to be their most played songs ever at some point. Like they're racking up views and views and views, and you can't deny the talent there. But I'm conflicted. Like they both went in different directions, but something about their decisions missed the mark for me.
Totally agree on both of them.
So what's your most disappointing album of 2025?
So I have got a top 5. I'm not going to say they're in any particular order because I think that is mean. And I like all these bands. one of the bands I like most, you mentioned Icy Stars. They are on my list as well. I think it's a little bit unfair on them. Like I almost didn't put them on it because, you know, Anomaly, Damage Done, Split, like they do hit hard. They're good songs, but it's like I almost don't associate with them with this album because I think it might have even been 2 years ago. So some of the length of time that was passed. So by the time the album came out, I'm almost just judging it on the songs I haven't heard when the album's come out. And there was barely anything on there that stuck with me. I do respect them. I actually would say, if I was being asked the question I asked you, I respect Icy Stars more for taking that move, and I do think it did pay off for certain songs that made more memorable songs for me personally with the exception of Pale Moonlight, because that was one of my favourite songs of the year. But I think the reason I put Icy Stars on here instead of Dayseeker, my expectations were so high for Icy Stars. It was one of my most anticipated albums of the year. But if you hadn't heard any of those singles, if I hadn't heard any of those singles, Icy Stars wouldn't be on this list. I think they're a victim of that effect of releasing your main course and then the shitty like unwanted sides afterwards.
Yeah,
like, it's a bit like that.
You gave everyone dessert for dinner.
Moving on, Adept, Blood Covenant. I've always been an Adept fan. I loved their album in 2016. I think that was the last album they brought out. But yeah, like they got a bit of modern production, but the songwriting and the ideas are stale as fucking old bread. Like moldy bread. It's like literally they haven't left that 2016 era. It's like they've come back to their old demos that they made in 2016. It's so fucking boring, really dated. Like the bar's too high now. You know, you've got bands like Polaris, Landmark, Silent Planet, all these metalcore bands. Like it's okay to be a generic metalcore band if you're within that elite premium metalcore bands, but Adept have fallen off, man. Like I was not a fan of their latest album.
That's a scathing review. I would hate to be Adept right now.
Yeah, I feel bad, but I've just got to say it how it is. I love 2016 album, but you know, when a band hasn't matured, like at least Icy Stars are doing something different because they also, their last album was 2016, so they're very comparable bands. Number 3, you're going to hate this one. Tsunami Sea, Spiritbox.
Saw this coming.
It was just so mediocre. The Screens vocals like didn't have barely any hooks. Like I really don't think it was Courtney's best performance. Like sounds good, but the hooks and the writing, the songwriting all round was just shit. Just so boring. Like, I barely got to the end of the album, like, and I was passively listening to it. It almost offended me how just uninspiring everything was. It was so run of the mill, so meh. I wanted to get into it as well. I try and force myself to listen to it, and I was just left feeling unenamored by it all. Again, like there were some good songs that released before. Some of the singles, like Black Rainbow was probably the only song I kind of liked that was like a new song, but that's just not good enough. And it was draining. That's a good word for it. It actually drained my energy listening to it. It wasn't a nice background music, and it's like I want Spiritbox to be, you know, at the front grabbing my attention. It was like, this isn't what I want. But maybe I'm being a bit harsh. Maybe it was a grower.
I think so. Did you ever listen to the album that came previously much?
Yeah, Eternal Blue. I love it. Yeah, it's one of my favourite like metalcore albums of the last few years.
It was a good next step for them. They honed in a heavier album, I would say. Maybe less hooky. I think it served fans that they'd already made, and I think it served a new audience of heavier music enjoyers. Heavier, not necessarily in the like. I know heavy music to you in a lot of cases is more chaotic. They played it maybe more safe with making it more like weighty and heavy, and
so many skippers.
I think it was a really mature and well-crafted album.
I respect the heaviness. I'll give them that. I did see them at Ali Pali, I think, late last year, and I loved seeing it live, but even live the songs didn't translate. It was just like valuable space they were taking up from the bangers they made in Eternal Blue, and for me it was just such a fall off in quality. I feel like I probably am being a bit harsh on that one. That's just my honest thoughts right now. I probably need to give it another listen. Dying Wish, Flesh Stays Together. So I gave this album the full works. I was so excited. I was a big fan of their first 2 albums. Absolutely love that retro 2000s vibe. I think they took the wrong turn with this. I don't know. I thought the vocal performance, to be honest, like, I don't mean to hate on women, like, nothing against women, love women. Maybe it's a vocal production as well. I know a big part of screaming is vocal production, but they almost just annoyed me. They were like grating in the wrong way.
there was a noticeable difference in like the tone of a strange abrasion to her tone throughout the whole album.
And even the cleans sounded amateur, to be honest with you. I didn't feel the emotion from her in the right way. It was almost like overcooked at times and then undercooked at other times. It wasn't consistent, but just the songwriting in general was just so like just muddled up. Like there was nowhere near enough hooks or like dynamics in the album. It was just a bit sloppy.
I think the change in production was intentional. Even the front cover, it looks like it could have been an album that releases their first album. It's like, I don't want to say it took a step back in quality. It almost feels like they tried to undo some of the polish, almost on purpose. Like with the vocals almost sounding like they weren't recorded in a properly treated room. Some of the sort of width of the stereo field feeling a bit cramped or not explored properly, or even a bit thin. I liked the songs, but I felt like there was a production choice that made it sound like it was an early and unmastered release. For them.
I really feel you with the cramped, actually. I did feel cramped listening to it. There wasn't enough room. And I know it is a stylistic choice because they have stuff in the past, but I think it was the wrong choice, really. I think they maybe went a bit too far the other way. Like, I can forgive bad production choices, like Cherry Bomb by Tyler Creator. I know it's a different genre. The production is awful, in my opinion, but the songs still cut through, and I can still appreciate the songs for what they are. I suppose Dying Wish aren't necessarily a band you go for the songwriting. I don't know, there was just something... Whatever I liked about Dying Wish was kind of gone with this album.
Okay, that's fair.
That's the nicest way I can put it, really. Yeah. But it was the vocals that took the biggest hit for me. The vocal production and the performance of the vocals let me down.
Yeah, for me, I think it was a bit of a mixing error or a stylistic choice in the way it was produced that annoyed me a little bit, because I know they're capable of putting out excellent tracks.
Yeah, I'll give it another listen. To be fair, I'm probably being way too harsh again, but that's just my honest opinion. I've only listened to it once. I've listened to a few singles here and there. Not a fan. All right, last one. To no surprise, but I just had to put it on here because I don't know why. I always give them a chance, but Attack 2. I've been rooting for Attack. I've given them chance again and again, despite the member changes. I don't even know how many original members. Maybe none, maybe one. But it was a cringe, jumbled mess. They seem like they just want to be bigger than they are. Like the songwriting just feels like really contrived, and the result is just this empty, soulless mess. Just terrible. I regret listening to this album. I'll never get those minutes back. Without a doubt, probably one of the worst like metalcore albums I've heard this year from a band that have written stuff that I do like, but obviously we're totally different members. The fact he's even trying to go country because Bill Murray's working out is just like, it's so see-through. And then like the marketing they put into like everything just seems so manufactured, but it's not even doing well. Like when you think manufactured, you think, oh, it's manufactured to do well. And it's like, no, it's manufactured and it's still not hitting the target. They don't deserve the name.
It's like, leave that there. Obviously,
stolen valor.
Obviously, whoever is remaining in the band that has been, it might have been like the guitarist or something, stayed in the band. Well, the band broke up and then he decided to get back with other people and still call it the same band name. Like, have the balls to start your own thing instead of just leeching off the fans that might still happen to follow you on Facebook, or the people that listen on Spotify, to albums that are from 25 years ago almost, maybe a bit less.
Like about 10.
They're just piggybacking off, what they've earned in the past with different members.
One member's earned.
Yeah, but it is a different band. Like I said, have the balls to start your own band and live on its own merit. There's members that have got together for this newcomer band called Still in Love, and they are, you got Curtis Ward, who was the original guitarist of. Oh shit! He's in the band, and he was the original guitarist of Bring Me the Horizon. And they're not flaunting that. They're coming out as a sort of newish band and they're not.
It just doesn't sit right, does it? It just feels a little bit wrong.
Especially if it's such a flop and shit money grab music.
I've got no shame in calling out Attack. cringe jumbled mess.
Shit music. I don't say that about much music, but it is shit music.
I dare you to listen to that latest album. It'll piss you off.
I don't want to hear country.
It reminds me. What was your guest spot of the year or best feature?
That's going to go to Randy Blythe on Malevolence's new album. So obviously they're sort of fans of each other, and they went on tour together. So Malevolence had Randy Blythe on one of their songs, and it just smacked it out of the park. It's exactly what I expect from Randy. He's gone through different stages with his vocals, and just didn't miss on this feature. It was really stuck out to me as my favourite feature of the year. So what is your best guest spot of the year?
It's a no-brainer. It's Poppy with Evanescence and Spiritbox in Amy Lee and Courtney. This was such a moment to experience. Like, what a collision. I'm sure that Jordan Fish had his hands at play with this one.
He was puppeteering that one.
Yeah, he was puppeteering. It was almost like the Avengers assembling. It was that much of a big deal in the scene to get, like, you've almost got three generations in, like, Evanescence. Amy Lee is obviously an OG back in the nu metal days. You've got Courtney, who's a seasoned vocalist in I Wrestled a Bear Once, and more recently Spiritbox. And you've got Poppy, who's a lot more recent onto the metalcore scene, and it's really cool to see them all together and playing to their strengths. I thought the song was really good. Like, a lot of times you're let down with these massive features where you got a triple collab, but I think the song was super strong. I think historians will mark this moment as a scene-defining moment. There's teasers that there's going to be another one. I called that out with my first reaction because I knew this was too good just to have a one-off, especially with the reception it got. But I think it's a really good thing for metal in general. It's always been a little bit sexist metal and male-dominated, and it's really nice to see women come together and for it to inspire women to feel more part of the scene. I think that's only a good thing. Long may it continue. Hope more collabs come. I hope more people come together and everyone can enjoy metal, because it's a beautiful thing to be a part of. All right, on to our last segment. Thanks for sticking with us if you made it this far. Alan, can you give me your favourite album art of the year?
That award has got to go to Private Music by Deftones.
Yes.
I'm going to call it early. It's only just come out, but it is an iconic piece of artwork. It might have not even been the original color of this. It's like they've inverted. It might have been a black snake on a blue background or something, but and they've inverted it. But when it's on Spotify, it turns the whole screen green with white lyrics. Like, it's a gorgeous album cover. Like, Deftones don't really every single album. The same goes for Gore, not my favorite album,
yeah,
but
beautiful.
Deftones just hit the mark every time with their album art. Yeah, it's stunning. I mean, I almost want it as artwork. Like, it's a good looking album.
I totally agree with you. It was a very close runner up for me. Obviously, it made the top 5. Fun fact about my top 5: every album in my top 5 is either blue or green. So you got Orthodox, which is green; Deftones, which is green; Thornhill, blue; Architects, blue. And my favourite album artwork, Landmarks, The Darkest Place I've Ever Been. So it's obviously inspired by Hokusai's The Great Wave. A lot of people say it's a painting. Fun facts. I've got a few fun facts about this, actually, because I just found it interesting. The Great Wave, a lot of people mistake it for a painting. It's actually a woodblock print, and it was available to everyday people back in the day. In 1831, it was made. It's one of Japan's most famous things, and one reason it was. I
know this artwork.
You know it. It's on my mouse mat.
I haven't even. But I know that it's been on like DeviantArt for years.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my mouse mat out.
This is show and tell. You got your vinyl. You got your Oscar.
What a big mouse mat.
Nice.
Hokusai's Great Wave. I don't know if that's how you say it. Do you know it was Japan's first export?
Really? Before sashimi?
Before sashimi.
Before katanas?
Before Pokemon. Apparently it's their first export.
Fun fact, sashimi didn't come from Japan. It came from the Nordics. It came from Norway, and they brought salmon over to Japan.
Full of fun facts.
Back to your fun facts.
As you were saying with Redbubble, it is one of the most reproduced artworks on the planet. But still, if you get an original one from back in the 1800s, if it's in good condition, One of the most recent one has gone for over 2 million.
Jesus.
For one of the most reproduced woodblock prints, that's crazy. They regularly sell for hundreds of thousands, even bad condition ones. But yeah, it influenced some of the most famous artists like Monet, Van Gogh, Debussy.
Bussy.
This is a cool fact. It uses Prussian blue, which was a brand new colour at the time. Can you imagine dropping a fucking painting and being like, this is Prussian blue? Dropping a new colour.
Well, new colours come from actual elements that are found. That's why pigments are like kept in under lock and key, essentially. Like people they actually discover new colours quite frequently, and they store them like rust, orange, or these things. They store them in actual little containers because that's where the pigment comes from. A genuine like element that's been found or material that's been used to create.
It's weird because it was actually found in Europe. The Prussian blue. Yeah. I don't know where it comes
Persian,
from.
Russian.
Yeah. And yeah, another about noodles as well. But you were talking about rice.
On to noodles. On to fun facts about noodles.
It goes for about 100k to 2 million now, but back in the day, you could buy it for the same price as a bowl of rice. It wasn't just available for the elites. I think the reason it became such an icon and so synonymous through history, because it was available to the everyday man. You could buy it if you wanted it. You could get it. It wasn't, you weren't priced out.
Should have invested back then.
We should have, yeah. Fuck Bitcoin. It's all about Hokusai's great woodblock print paintings. But yeah, on that note, I think the Metal Lounge award show comes to an end. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been really good fun doing this. I think this is going to be a yearly occurrence. I love just looking back at the year, taking a breath. Thank you so much for joining me, Alan.
Thanks for having me.
It's been lovely getting your thoughts. I think we've been quite amicable today, which is unlike us.
Yeah, we usually disagree quite often.
Yeah, I wish you'd disagreed with me a bit more, but
yeah, well, we did have a bit of a tiff over Spiritbox. But
oh yeah, we did. We're gonna we got plenty more plans next year. Hopefully, more interviews, more festival content, obviously more podcasts. Planning some big things like a local band, but actually delivering. Yeah, if you've been with us this year, just want to say thank you to everyone that's especially watches the long form, because it's not that popular. If you're a new fan of the Metal Lounge, welcome. If you've seen any before, welcome back. We love doing it, and thanks for sticking with us. Got this far in the video, please give it a like, think about subscribing, and we'll catch you next year.